Have you noticed your energy dropping, your stamina fading, or your erections not feeling as strong as they used to? Gentlemen, if you're over 50 and this sounds familiar, I want you to stop and really think about this for a moment. What if the issue isn't just your age, or your testosterone, or even your prostate? What if the real problem is something much simpler, something mechanical, something happening inside your body every single day without you even realizing it? As a urologist, I've seen countless men come in worried about weak erections, low stamina, and declining vitality. Most assume they need medication or complicated treatments, but many times the root cause is hiding in plain sight. A single muscle, yes, one tight, overlooked muscle deep in your body can restrict blood flow, compress nerves, and even interfere with hormonal balance. Think of it like stepping on a garden hose. The water pressure may be strong, but if the hose is blocked, nothing flows the way it should. And that's exactly what's happening in your body. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to reveal a hidden mistake most men make every day, one that silently tightens this muscle and accelerates hormonal decline faster than they realize. But here's what most men don't realize. The problem often doesn't start with hormones, it starts with structure. Gentlemen, deep inside your body is a muscle called the psoas. Most men have never heard of it, but this muscle connects your lower spine to your hips and sits right behind your abdominal organs. Now imagine this muscle as a thick rope running through your core. When it's flexible, your body moves freely, blood flows easily, nerves communicate without interference. But when it becomes tight, everything changes. Think of it like wearing a tight boot around your waist. Everything underneath your blood vessels, your nerves, even your prostate starts to feel pressure. That pressure doesn't just cause discomfort, it restricts function. Blood flow to the penis becomes limited. And as you know, erections depend entirely on strong, steady blood flow. No flow, no firmness. At the same time, the nerves that carry signals from your brain to your pelvic region can become compressed. That weakens communication. So even if your mind is ready, your body doesn't respond the same way. And here's where it gets even more important. This tightness doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly. Years of sitting, lack of movement, poor posture, all of it shortens and tightens this muscle without you even noticing. That's why many men feel like their decline just happened. But in reality, it's been developing quietly for years. Now here's the hopeful part. Unlike aging, this is something you can actually change. When you release that tension, your body often responds faster than you expect. But before we talk about how to fix it, you need to understand why this problem goes deeper than you think. This next part might surprise you, because a tight muscle might not sound like a serious issue. But here's what most men don't realize. Your pelvic area is not just another part of your body. It's a central hub. Blood flow, nerve signals, and even hormonal communication pass through this region. Now imagine that hub being compressed. It's like a busy intersection where traffic is suddenly blocked. Everything slows down. Blood flow becomes restricted, nerve signals weaken, and your body's ability to function properly starts to break down. Let's bring this back to erections. To get a strong erection, your body needs two things to work perfectly together: blood flow and nerve signals. Blood fills the penis. Nerves trigger and maintain the response. But if either one is restricted, the result is weaker, slower, less reliable erections. Now let's talk about hormones. When your body is under constant tension like a tight muscle pulling on your system, it creates a low-level stress response. This increases cortisol, your stress hormone. And when cortisol stays elevated, it interferes with testosterone. Think of testosterone like a cooling system in your body. It keeps everything balanced, energized, and functioning properly. But when cortisol rises, it's like turning off that cooling fan. Heat builds up, systems slow down, energy drops, stamina fades. And over time, this affects not just your erections, but your entire sense of vitality. So now you have a chain reaction: tight muscle, restricted blood flow, compression, weaker nerve signals, chronic tension, hormonal imbalance. This is why so many men feel like everything is declining at once. But the truth is, it often starts in one place. And once you understand that, you can start to reverse it, because the science behind this is actually simpler than you think. Now let's break this down in a way that makes complete sense. Gentlemen, your body relies on three main systems working together: blood flow, nerve signals, and hormones. Think of it like a system with three parts. Blood is the fuel, nerves are the wiring, hormones are the control center. If all three are working properly, everything runs smoothly. But now imagine one tight muscle interfering with all three. First, blood flow. When the psoas and surrounding pelvic muscles tighten, they reduce the space around blood vessels. It's like squeezing a pipe. Less space, less flow. And since erections depend on strong blood flow into the penis, even a small restriction makes a noticeable difference. Second, nerve signals. Nerves travel through the same area. When muscles are tight, they can compress those nerves. Think of it like bending a wire. The signal doesn't travel as clearly. So even if your brain is sending the right message, your body receives a weaker version of it. That's why many men say, "I feel the desire, but the response isn't there." Now, third, hormones. Chronic tightness creates a subtle but constant stress signal in the body. This increases cortisol, and when cortisol is elevated for long periods, testosterone drops. Lower testosterone means less energy, reduced libido, and weaker erections. So now you have all three systems affected at once: reduced blood flow, weaker nerve signals, lower testosterone, and that combination directly impacts your stamina, your erections, and your overall health. But here's the good news. This is not a permanent condition, because once you remove the pressure, the system can start working again, and it begins with something simple: a daily stretch. Now, here's where things start to change, because the solution is not complicated. Gentlemen, one of the most powerful things you can do is stretch the psoas muscle daily. This is often called the hidden muscle because you don't see it, but it affects everything. When you stretch it, you release the tension that's been building up for years. Think of it like loosening a tight knot in a rope. As that knot loosens, everything connected to it begins to relax. Blood vessels open up. Nerves are no longer compressed. Pressure on the prostate decreases, and circulation improves. One of the simplest ways to stretch this muscle is a basic lunge position. Step 1 foot forward. Lower your hips gently. Keep your back straight and hold that position for about 20 to 30 seconds. You should feel a deep stretch in your hip and lower abdomen. That's the psoas. Now here's the key. Don't rush it. This isn't about forcing your body. It's about allowing it to release tension gradually. Consistency matters more than intensity. Doing this daily, even for a few minutes, can begin to restore balance in your body. And over time, many men notice real changes: better circulation, improved stamina, stronger erections, less discomfort in the pelvic area. But here's something important. This stretch is only part of the solution, because there's a hidden mistake that can completely undo your progress. And most men are doing it every single day without realizing it. This is the part most men never see coming. And it's the biggest mistake of all. Even if you stretch every day, even if you start feeling better, you might still be undoing everything. Gentlemen, the hidden mistake is this: you go right back to prolonged sitting. Think about it. You stretch in the morning, maybe even feel a little looser. Then you sit for hours. And what happens? That same muscle tightens again. It's like loosening a knot and then pulling it tight all over again. Most men never break this cycle, and that's why they don't see lasting results. But here's what makes this even more serious. Sitting doesn't just tighten the muscle, it reinforces the problem. It keeps your hips in a shortened position. It reduces blood flow. It compresses nerves. And over time, it locks your body into that restricted state. Most men never realize this until it's too late. They think they've tried everything, but nothing worked. But the real issue wasn't what they tried, it's what they kept doing. Now here's the solution. You don't need to eliminate sitting, but you need to break the pattern. Stand up regularly. Move your body. Shift positions. Even small changes, standing every 30 to 60 minutes, walking briefly can prevent that muscle from tightening again. When you combine movement with stretching, that's when real change happens. Blood flow improves, hormones stabilize, your body starts responding the way it should. And here's what I want you to remember. It's never too late. Your body is not broken, it's responding to the conditions you give it. Change those conditions, and your body can heal. Start small, stay consistent. And if this helped you, make sure you subscribe and tell me in the comments, which of these habits do you struggle with most?